Welcome back to our 5-part series on the top 10 most powerful techniques in Oblivion. This is part 2, Shadows Preserve Us. And I called it this because this one is very focused on things that are especially good for rogues, assassins, the kind of people that would follow Nocturnal. And the two strategies we're going to be talking about, while they do synergize well together, are not exclusive to each other. But I need to emphasize, they synergize really well. So, let's move on to number 8, the Stealth Archer. I think we all knew that this one was going to be on this list. You cannot really do a top 10 most effective strategies really in any Bethesda game, but in particular in any Elder Scrolls game, without talking about Stealth Archers. I mean, it just works.
Gosh, golly, does it work.
Archery gives you the unique ability to deal with targets from often incredible distances before they ever get close enough to deal any damage or really do anything to you. But when combined with stealth, it not only allows you to deal with targets before they even know you're there, but increases by orders of magnitude the amount of damage that you deal, allowing you to sometimes kill a target in a single strike before they've even become aware of your presence. The Stealth Archer thrives especially well in the wilds of Cyrodiil, as its rocky, steep terrain and crumbling ruins often provide ideal vantage points for the Stealth Archer to attack in relative safety, rendering even the most formidable enemies harmless. Okay, so let's talk about equipment. I've talked a lot about the advantages of archery, but how do you really get the most out of it? So, without a doubt, I think the most powerful bow in the game is a Madness bow with Madness arrows. Now, that's in Shivering Isles, so if either you haven't gotten there yet, or you don't have access to it, there are other options. But I want to talk about this real quick, because this is the bow I was actually using in that footage that I just shot. And as you can see, it is enchanted. You can acquire this by finding an enchanted Madness bow matrices somewhere in the Shivering Isles. I don't remember where I found it, but it's a one-use thing. So once you use it, that's it. But from what I understand, the bow is always the same enchantment, and this is a pretty solid enchantment. It's just a straight bonus 20 damage to hit to health. So it's this bow does 52 damage per shot, and as you can see, it's got over 4,000 charge, which gives me 75 shots with this thing before I need to refill. And this bar it takes 3 grand souls to fill this bar all the way to the top from empty. So this lasts you a long time, which is why I like this bow. It lasts a really long time. And there are also enchanted perfect Madness arrows that you can get if you can get an arrow matrices, which gives you enchanted arrows that also do an additional 20 damage. But I don't rely on those because the matrices are hard to find and they're one use and you only get 20 arrows. So it's like, cool, for my next 20 shots, I'm hitting quite a bit harder. But then it's gone and you're back to regular arrows. Now, these are easier to get because all you need is Madness ore. And those lizard things that are all over the Shivering Isles carry that stuff. So you can always get more and more and more. That's how I got 170 of these. There's actually a person over there that crafts them, which makes these the ideal arrows because they're stronger than the other arrow types and they're craftable. You can always get more. Now, if you don't have access to the perfect Madness bow and the Madness arrows and all that, the Daedric bow and Glass bow are always options, as are the Bow of Order and the Bow of, is it Pandemonium? Chaos? The ones that you get from the DLC that they put in Oblivion Remastered. Those quests hold your hand and guide you straight to them. And even if you get at a low level, you can always go back to the character that gives you the weapons and armor, and they'll give you better ones as you level up. So it always levels up with you. You can always get more better ones. So those are also excellent options, and you don't have to, with the Glass bow and the Daedric bow, you kind of have to pray that an NPC will drop one, and eventually they will. But in the meantime, that whole time, you could have had a Bow of Order. Now, for arrows, you're just kind of out of luck. If you don't have access to the perfect Madness arrows, you're just kind of at the mercy of the game, because Elven arrows are the best kind of arrows that you can purchase regularly from vendors. glass arrows, which are slightly better than elven arrows, and daedric arrows, which are even better than that. Those are the arrows that I like to use, but again, you know, so I've got 20 of these, I've got 40 of these. They're not terribly common. You don't get a lot of them. So unless you want to cheat and use a console command to give yourself a bunch, you just kind of, you're at the mercy of whatever NPC drops 5, 10, 20 of them for you. But elven arrows are perfectly adequate. That's 17 damage. Those are perfectly adequate. 17 damage with, I believe the Bow of Order and the Bow of Pandemonium do the same amount of damage as a Daedric bow. So you're talking about 31 damage plus 17. That's 48. That's respectable damage. And then with a triple stealth bonus, that's for that'd be 144. Yeah, 144. Now, before you guys run down to the comment section and talk about, oh, there's other ways you could make archery better. There's so many other. Yes, I know there's a lot of things you can do to make archery even better. I wanted to make this section focused entirely on archery because all those things that you can do to make archery better, I'm going to talk about them later. But for now, let's move on to number 7, Full Herbalist. Well, this is a strategy that you guys heard me implement, and I coined the name Full Herbalist. Full Herbalist in my playthrough if you watch my videos. But basically, I really love alchemy in this, especially in this game. And you can make some really potent, powerful poisons. Not as powerful as you could in Skyrim, but they don't need to be. The poisons in this game are really good, and I'm going to show you how to make what I think might be, I'm not 100% sure, there could be something better out there, but as far as my research has shown, this might be the most powerful poison in Oblivion. I've named it Oblivion Venom because it's that bad. Check this out. This has, now it is theoretically possible to have up to 8 effects on a poison if you get all 4 of your ingredients to perfectly line up with each other. You can have, because there's 16 possible effects, so if you have 2, 2, 2, and 2 on each of the ingredients, you theoretically can have 8 effects. But I've never seen more than 5. But this poison has 6 effects on it. It has damage health. It also has fire damage, damage magicka, silence. So between the damage magicka and the silence, this is a worse nightmare for spellcasters. It also has burden on self. So if you're fighting somebody that's got a lot of heavy armor on and you hit them with this, you might stop them dead in their tracks. And paralysis, which definitely will stop them dead in their tracks for 3 seconds. All of this on a single poison. This is nuts. And here's the best part. The ingredients to craft this are relatively common. They're not like crazy rare like Nirnroot, which I did look into making a poison out of Nirnroot because Nirnroot has all negative effects. The first problem is that the drain health effect is not nearly as good as the damage effect. The damage health effect does 8 points of damage for 30 seconds. The drain health effect, at first you look at it, it's like, oh, that's way more powerful because it's 24 points for 95 seconds, except that's not how it works. It reduces their maximum health by 24 points, and that reduction lasts for 95 seconds. It's not 24 points every second for 95 seconds. It's just a flat 24 points once, and that doesn't go away for, a minute and a half. So this is better, because 8 times 30, that's 240 damage. That's 10 times what the Nirnroot could do. The other problem is that there's only one other ingredient that does a drain health effect, and it's in the Shivering Isles, and it's almost as rare as the Nirnroot is. So this is a crazy, crazy rare recipe, and it's not very good. So I didn't even bother. But the ingredients for this, they're relatively common, and I'm going to show you where to get these ingredients. This is the recipe. Steel Blue Etaloma Cap, which are all over the place. You can see I've got almost 200 of them. They're all over the place. Spittle Stick, which is all over the place in Oblivion. You go through any gate, you look for those little dried out yellow flowers, you get you some Spittle Stick. I can also show you an easy place in the overworld where you can go get them. Rot Scale, that's in Shivering Isles only, but there's one spot you can go where there's a ton of it. You see I got 60 here. I'll show you one in a minute. And then Harada, which is also relatively common, and I'm going to show you a spot where you can get that. In fact, the Harada and the Spittle Stick, I get my stash from the same place, and I'm going to go show it to you right now. Boom. this is where I get my Harada and my spittle stick. See? The domesticated spittle stick? You come in here, you get like 10 each time you harvest, and it refreshes every 3 days. So if you just want to come over here and do your whole herbalist thing and just harvest, and then wait 3 days, I think you have to leave the room before you do the waiting part. But I harvested this once when I started preparing for this video, and it already grew back and harvested again. And there's a lot of stuff over here, including my personal favorite, Nightshade. Now, like I said in another video, Nightshade is great because it's a 1 ingredient poison. So for 1 ingredient, you're getting 2 potions of damage health. It's not as good as the one that I made with the 6 effects. Obviously, it's 1 effect instead of 6. But it's super easy. And let me show you something. You go down over in this area, particularly, where is it? Priory of the Nine, right around in this area. There's a ton of Nightshade, just everywhere. You fast travel over there, there's no direction you can look where you can't see at least one. So there's a lot of stuff over here. So yeah, you can get both the Harada and the spittle stick over here from the Oblivion section of this garden. Okay, now let me show you where you can get that rot scale. This is the location we're going to, the Swamp Gas Hole. Yeah, I know, it's a funny name. Anyway, it is in the Shivering Isles, right on the southern tip of this peninsula. You go past Zedillion, and you will go past the Howling Halls as part of quests. So you can fast travel to either one of these and then just travel over here. It's like halfway between the two of them. So whichever one you prefer. That is what it looks like. Now there is another entrance that looks similar to this one, but you'll know you found the right one if it's got an Elytra Noble in it. The other one is also called Swamp Gas Chasm, so make sure you got the right one. It's the one that's by the fast travel point. And I went through there once, and I got, let's see how many I got, 61 of these. And it took me about 20-30 minutes. And as you can see, I got a lot of other stuff as well. So there's a lot of resources in this cave, not just the rot scale. That's not all though. There's one more thing that you can do to actually make your poison even more effective. Now remember before when I was using that Perfect Madness bow and I said it was the best bow in the game? It's the best bow in the game that you don't make yourself. You can enchant bows that are way better than that. But if you just want to grab a bow and go, that's the best one. I, and most players who are experienced, don't want to just settle for that though. I crafted this bow here. I call it Delirium. Let's take a look at this. So it does weakness to poison for 6 seconds and soul trap for 6 seconds. Now, the reason I do that is I added the soul trap on there to you recharge the bow so that it powers itself. And then you also have Azura's Star with you. Like you see, I got a Grand Soul in there right now. Every time you kill something, the star gets refilled. And then when this runs low, you just use the soul in the star, and then you kill something else and get another soul, and you just keep going like that forever. Common basic strategy. The real strategy here is this weakness to poison. Because this makes sure that even if you're attacking something that's immune to poison, you still kill it. This is what I did in the earlier part of my playthrough. For like, until I was like level 23, 24, this is what I was doing. Was using weakness to poison in conjunction with the poison. And I loved it. It's really fun. It's powerful enough that you can feel powerful. You can feel like, hey, I'm deadly. I'm killing stuff. You can stomp on stuff with this strategy. But it's not so powerful that it's like, okay, this is OP. Because you still got to be agile. When you hit something with poison, you then have to give it time to work. So you have to stay out of that thing's melee range or dodge their spells or dodge their arrows until the poison can do its work. The poison is powerful, but it's not instantaneous. And the way you do this is, the first shot, you don't apply a poison. You're just shooting to apply the weakness. Then you apply the poison and hotkey the poison to like 1 or 2 so that you can quickly apply the poison after you fire that first shot, and you apply the poison before the arrow hits, and so that you can immediately start drawing your bow to fire a second shot, because you only got a 6-second window. It only checks for weakness to poison when the poison is applied. So you don't need to keep applying it, but if you keep with this setup, you'll keep applying the soul trap so that you can catch that soul when the creature dies. So you'll really only need to hit it with the poison once. I've not seen anything that needed more than 1 poison. Let's go take this poison out for a test drive. Now this is what I'm talking about when I say you have to be agile. I don't have them hotkeyed. Let me go ahead and do that real quick. There we go. Did he die already? Oh, I must have stunned him, that's why. Oh boy. Let me just double check here and make sure I'm... Oh, I'm on expert mode, that's why. Let me fix that. This is the first guy we shot. You see how little health he has left? And see how that guy died too? I probably didn't even need to shoot this guy. But yeah, there you have it. This is the recipe that I call Oblivion Venom. And as you can see, Harada, Rot Scale, Steel Blue Etymala caps, and Spittle Sticks. They're all relatively easy. I mean, the Steel Blue Etymala is super common. And the Spittle Sticks and the Harada, you have a reliable source that you can get on a regular, consistent basis. The Rot Scale, you might have to go hunt for a little bit, but it's not hard to find. That one dungeon I showed you guys, it has supposedly 73 or something like that in there. I stopped when I got to 61. So the other thing I'm going to mention is, you notice I don't have a retort, and I think it's my Alembeck is only, where is it? It's only expert level, which you can purchase. So you only need to farm for the Mortar and Pestle and the Calcinator. You don't need to farm for an Alembeck, and you don't need to farm for a retort. Because retort's only for making positive potions. It doesn't do anything to poisons, so you can just ignore it. And the Alembeck, its benefits max out at expert level. So you don't need a master level Alembeck. You only need these two. And that makes it way easier. It took me like 2 hours to farm these up. If I had to do them all, it probably would have taken me 4 or 5. So it makes it a lot easier to get the best poisons when you only need to get 2 of the items instead of all 4. One last thing I wanted to touch on about the weakness to poison enchantment. I did it on a bow because I like archery. Like I said, there's a lot of advantages to stealth archery, but you don't have to put this on a bow. You can put this on a knife and just go around stabbing people with poison knives. You could put it on a sword and just stab somebody with the sword to poison them, and then just shield bash them and stun lock them until the poison kills them. There's a lot you can do with poisons, which is why I didn't want to include it as part of the archery itself, because it's not exclusive to archery. It does synergize with archery very, very well, because you can use the stealth archery to get into a high position, to get into a really nice spot where nothing can reach you, plink it with the poison once, and then just sit there and watch those monsters throw their little temper tantrum because they can't reach you until they fall over dead from the poison. So yeah, that is part 2. Check back for part 3 when we get tanky. Until then, thanks for checking out my channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.